Right. Hey guys, how you doing? Hope everyone's doing well. It's the lyric breakdown, isn't it? Alright, so it's probably best to kind of understand the background. So for instance, why is it called Lamith Tramell? And the names actually, it's a portmanteau, which is basically when you blend two words together, like the way you would with, like, I don't know, the word spork. You have a spoon and a fork, and you put those two words together and you get the word spork. The myth, the first name, is a blending of two names, which is Lamia and Lilith. And when you put those together, makes Lamith. I wanted the song to explore the concept of temptation, because throughout the whole of my series, my Enter Mynd series, which is a series of EPs I've released that are set within a paracosm, and the paracosm is like a person's created universe. So Enter Mynd was my paracosm. It was a paracosm I created, like a whole universe I created, where I explored my life using metaphors. So like certain feelings and thoughts that I had were personified. I would personify and turn into characters. So there were two main characters, I suppose, and one is a shoulder angel. One's like my shoulder angel, my conscience.
Conscience, yeah.
And then the other is my shoulder devil, I suppose, my temptations. Anima Hatter would represent like the angel, the conscience, the rights, like the right things you should do in terms of morality. And then Lamith Tramell would represent the wrongs, the way you get right and wrong. He'd represent the wrongs and going down temptation. So this whole song focused more on temptation. I was looking at a lot of pop culture references. I was exploring a lot of femme fatales found in history and found in mythology and in all forms of culture, you know, just different forms, whether it was fictitious or if it was historical figures. So Lamia, it comes from the Greek mythology, and then Lilith comes from like folklore found within various mythologies. And then also it's got like the Christian aspect to it also, because there's also got Lady Wisdom and Lady Folly. Yeah. And then Tramell, I wanted to add some of the attributes found within culture to describe what temptation, my interpretation of what temptation would or could look like, and the attributes that temptation would have. So Tramell is found in a big character, big villainess, I suppose, is this character named Catherine Tramell, who's being ranked as like one of the top villains of all time. Like somebody described them on the same levels as Hannibal Lecter, and so on and so forth. So I wanted to add some of those attributes to temptation as well, and also explore toxic relationships also, you know, being in a form of relationship that's non-beneficial and is in fact disadvantageous for both parties involved, or rather the one party involved. So yeah, so then that was Lamith and Tramell, Lamith Tramell. So that's the name, that's the background behind the name.
Met this girl at a young age, never knew she'll leave your soul amongst graves, clever too.
It's exploring morality as well, so your rights and wrongs, you have that from a very young age, right? Like what's right and what's wrong. So met this girl at a young age, never knew. She'd leave your soul amongst graves. So, you know, I'm saying like if you follow that person, you're going to go down a very bad road. And at the same time, like I said, it's got so many different references to with Lamith Tramell. So this one, you can view it in the sense of Eve and the apple, Adam and Eve and the apple, or you can view it in the sense of Lady Folly in Proverbs.
She had no clothes, just a long beige, red and blue cloak that was soaked in the coat of weather drools.
Okay, so going back to the references, whenever you look at a lot of femme fatales and the like, in like I don't know, let's say Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, you find that they're always like dressed in some form of cloak. You know, they're always wearing some form of cloak, and the cloak is usually like an earthen color, like even if it might be black. It's never white. It's never white because like white tends to describe purity and such. So I was like, yeah, she's got this beige cloak, and then also it's red and blue, right? My artist's name is Blue Saint, so it's like goes back to the whole concept. EP explores the idea of a dichotomy, of duality, of difference, you know, of good and bad, of light and dark, you know. So I've got an alter ego called Razor Rays, and his color is more like a red. And then we've got Blue Saints where it's blue. And then if you look at law, if you look at the law enforcement, you look at the police, they have the red and blue lights and such. So I'm saying she's wearing this cloak with weathered rules because she doesn't follow the rules. It's weathered. The rules that she has are just like, they're worn. They just breaking, they're crumbling. Because if Temptation was a real person, they wouldn't follow any laws or rules. So she's like wearing this cloak that's like a coat, that's like a beige, but then it's also got the red and blue being like Blue Saint Razor Rays, but then also, which is the contrast there, but then also like law enforcement with the red and blue. And so that's kind of like where I was like kind of going down when I said that.
I said, walk down the avenue, is a retort, of course, never thought you'd move. From day you met her, she's never jealous, hella true. She tends to fellas, she is telling use, and she rocks into Western news. Man, she's got intellectual views, she think better.
Man, she's got intellectual views. She think better than internets. I say that later down the line. And it's just like exploring the fact that, you know, good and evil has been around for time. If Temptation was a real person, they would be incredibly intelligent. So in the story, Blue Saints now gained confidence to ask her out. So he said, hey, you know, gonna go out sometime? And she is like, oh whoa, I never knew, I've been waiting, like I never knew, it took a long while to move there, innit? Like I thought you'd never ask, basically what she's saying. I thought you'd never ask, never thought you'd move. From the day I met her, she's never jealous, hella true, she tends to fellas, she is seldom muse. Basically saying that she's an amazing person, like she's cool. And she rocks interesting news, man, she's got intellectual views. Again, saying that she's mad clever. Like if good and evil has been around for forever, then they'd be a pretty intelligent, like Lamith Tramell would be a pretty intelligent person, you know, with a lot of news, a lot of interesting things to say because they've been around for history. She think better than internet, had interest to impress her. Alright, so she think better than internet. The internet is a place with a lot of information, right? And she's been around for so long. I'm saying that she's more intelligent than the internet. Like whoa, like she's fast, like she's really quick at thinking, incredibly intelligent.
But this princess is in an imposter.
Anything that's tempting, whether it's food, like you're like, oh, I'd really like to eat this junk food, or I don't know, wanting to steal something, or I don't know, like wherever, everybody has different vices. So like wherever is tempting, it's always alluring, right? It's always something that looks amazing, up until you give into it, and then you're like, oh damn, like I messed up, like whoa, that's really, really bad for me, like shouldn't have ate that food, or like if you're addicted to something, oh damn, I shouldn't have, I don't know, drank this or had that or stole this or whatever. The idea of it is good up until you slip up and then you end up doing it and you go, damn, that thing was really bad. So what I'm saying is Lamith Tramell is appealing, and it's like a princess, beautiful, great, amazing, like a femme fatale would be, until you follow her ways. And obviously I'm personifying it as a female, like, because in this story it's Blue Saint and Lamith Tramell. So yeah, he's like, oh wow, she's like so appealing, like a princess. And then he realizes, no, this person's a sheep in wolf's clothing, or a princess. This princess is an imposter. Shoot, razor troop, the mute, with groups of duped brutes, their boots color of suit. So my alter ego Razor, who represents the darker sides of myself. My disposition tends to be like, I'm a pretty chill guy, but like just like everybody's a mixture of different emotions. I'm not always chill. So Razor kind of is like a representation of the more braggadocious and non-chill side of myself, and the one who doesn't really give a crap about what anybody says about them. The part of me is just like, whatever, like I don't care, and just kind of does his own thing, sort of thing. That's who Razor personifies. But within the story of Enter Mynd, he's a villain. He's like the villain, because Blue Saint's the hero, the protector of mind. Mind is a portmanteau. We go back to that word, of the words my and mind. So it's my mind. I'm telling you to enter my mind, to enter my head, and see all these emotions and feelings and things that I'm thinking about. His rays represents the darker sides of myself, I suppose, or the more angry and resilient and just no nonsense, doesn't give a crap part of myself. So within the story itself, it's got different parts of mine. So there's got a place called Terradome, where Razor resides. He comes with his group of goons, his crew. They're all dressed in black. So his boots are is the color of suit, and suit is black color. So yeah, that's verse 1.
Chorus. Should you go to the chorus?
The new with groups of Jew brutes, the boots color of suit. This bitch is hell. What's her name? Lamith Tramell. She's vicious. Well, what's her name? Lamith Tramell. Like an infidel that bring pain is Lamith Tramell. This bitch is hell. What's her name? Lamith Tramell. She's vicious. Well, what's her name? Lamith Tramell. Like infidel that bring pain is Lamith Tramell. Yeah.
Okay, Bish is
Edie. Yeah. Yes, sir.
This bitch is hell. What's her name? Lamith Tramell. I'm saying this person's crazy. This person's hell. Crazy. This person's crazy. Like this thing, this person, whatever else you want to call it. Because I'm just personifying what temptation is to me, and what temptation is to me. So it's like, this bitch is hell. What's her name? Lamith Tramell. Yeah, she's vicious. Well, what's her name? Lamith Tramell. She's crazy. Like an infidel that bring painless Lamith Tramell. Again, like I said before, temptation was real. Again, like I said before, if temptation was personified into a person, it would not follow rules, right? It just do whatever wanted to do. So they wouldn't really be a believer of anything. In fact, they'd be against belief. They'd be against you. So yeah, that's what I say. Like an infidel that bring pain is Lamith Tramell. You know, like somebody who doesn't even believe in anything. You know, like because somebody who's like, nah, don't like it.
Her name is Lamith Tramell. Her frame is insane, so crisp and melts the brains of the untrained.
So okay, so I'm saying that this person, like I said before, her name is Lamith Tramell. The way that she appears, her frame, the way she looks, is so beautiful and wondrous that it can melt any person who isn't disciplined. Somebody who's untrained. If you're untrained, you're not disciplined, if you don't have any discipline, it'd be a lot easier for you to fall for her. The brains of the untrained, her kiss can fell anyone in this plane a wish to dwell. Yeah, so her kiss can fell anyone in this plane. She's so wondrous and beautiful and amazing that like even just a kiss from her can just make you like fall head over heels. Regardless of where you are, anyone in this plane, it's a risk to be around her, a risk to dwell right next to her, and quick they fell in a mess trucer and abyss of hell. As soon as you falling for this person, you fall into an abyss, into a dark hole, into just despair. So they appear beautiful and amazing up until you fall for them, and then you're just like, oh my goodness, what have I done? In the same sense, like I say, there's got so many layers. So from one aspect, I'm talking about toxic relationships, but then in another aspect, I'm just talking about wherever it is that you're addicted to, or wherever it is that you view as a temptation. If you fall for those sort of things, it's beautiful, it's amazing. You might get like a euphoric feeling from whatever it is, whether it's alcohol or drugs or food or whatever it is, or like I don't know, gambling, whatever it is, whatever vices there is that grabs you, or in the sense of being in a toxic relationship, a person that you're very much attracted to, or whatever that you love. It's like being with them and then falling into despair once you're with them. The price of having this girl is cruel. Vice the marries your will, she devel. Okay, so this is a great pun right here. I mean, at least I think it's a great pun. The double entendre here was like Cruella de Vil. Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. So in this sense, it's Cruella de Vil. Is one double entendre for it, but I'm also saying like this person's cruel. Like you should stay away from this person.
And Blue started to develop an attraction to his spell. Well,
in this point of the story, this point in the concept EP, Blue Saint's not falling for it. It's like, oh damn, and Blue started to develop an attraction to this spell. Well, so again, the layer, the double entendre with her being a femme fatale or a sorceress or wherever else, you know, and she casts spells, sorcerers cast spells, but then also at the same time, it's just the idea of falling head over heels with somebody.
A temptress who bench presses men's health.
Another double. There's got quite a lot of doubles. There's quite a lot of double entendres in this. A double entendre is just something that has more than one meaning. The line that has more than one meaning. So there's got a magazine, Men's Health, that's predominantly read by men, and it looks sort of like men's lifestyle and so on and so forth. She's a temptress that bench presses men's health, both metaphorically and literally. So like bench press, you know, because that's like the layer to do with men's health. Because men's health looks at the gym and health and fitness and stuff. So she bench presses men's health. But at the same time, like she is responsible for, with her being the femme fatale in the story, she is responsible for these men, the destruction of these men's health. sort of thing. That's basically the concept behind that. Femme fatale, distressed until death, do them part. Obviously, whenever you get married, it's got a line where it's like, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. And that's like basically what I'm saying here. Like, oh no, she's really gonna be with you until she's gonna make sure that you die, like for real. So that's basically the spin on that. And then me going back to the idea of like, you get married to this person will cause your downfall. And when she's departed, part of your heart is distorted and tarnished. It's crazy because like that's the way it is with toxic relationships, right? As soon as this person leaves, then you're like, oh no, I need that person back, sort of thing. So that's basically what I want to explore there. It's like even when she leaves, you want that person to you want the person there. And in terms of like addiction, and in terms of the aspect of addiction, it's like even if you leave that thing, it's still calling you. You know, you still want it back. You know, so it's like even when that person leaves, or even when that vice is far away from you, you want it back. You're like, oh no, like I feel really bad, I feel really sad, I really want that back. You had your hardships, so you can manage, but then she darted, now you feel heartsick. So like, yeah, I feel like that's self-explanatory. It's like, you were going through a lot, but you was like, damn, I thought I could figure this out, you know. That's why it's like a yo-yo. You just keep coming back, you know. You just keep coming back for more because you're like, no, we'll sort this out. It'll work out. But then at the same time, as soon as that person leaves, now you're like feeling horrible, like, oh no, I'm feeling sick. Or as soon as that object of temptation leaves, and you feel really horrible, like, oh my goodness, I need that. I really need that. I need that fix. So it's like that's basically like the idea there.
This is Morgan the Fate, Ishtar, Delilah, and Salome. Hey,
that was basically a way of me just rounding it all up. Delilah and Salome found in the Bible, you know. So there's the Christian aspect. Delilah is a person that was with Samson, is a woman that Samson fell for, and then Salome was the person that wanted John's head, basically got John the Baptist's head to be decapitated. So another example of femme fatale, Delilah being an example of femme fatale from a Christian perspective. And then we've got Ishtar being another example of, I suppose, a femme fatale within the Babylonian mythology. And then there's got Morgan Le Fay, who's found within like the King Arthur legend, the legend of King Arthur. She's a sorceress, she casts spells, and yeah, she's very enchanting, she's an enchantress. So that's just rounding a roll up, saying like, yo, this song is about femme fatales, but also just about temptation and trying to stay away from anything that could cause you to that could cause you downfall, like your lady follies found in the Bible. So that's basically that's the Lamith Tramell as a whole. Alright, so that's been me, Blue Saint, breaking down Lamith Tramell for you. Alright.
hey, cause this bitch is hell. What's her name? Lamith Tramell. She's vicious, well, what's her name? Lamith Tramell. Like an infidel. That bring pain is Lamith Tramell. This bitch is hell. What's her name? Lamith Tramell. She's vicious, well, what's her name?